Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Small Business Insights. I'm Don Emmett, Managing Director of Entrust Associates, and today we're in the headquarters of Kelaca People Solutions.
That's correct, yes, sir.
People Solutions. Here in Raleigh, North Carolina, with President, Founder, Mr. Keith Langbo. Keith, thanks for inviting us into your
Thank you, Don.
nice facility here. Got to see a bunch of the team out front making things happen, looking for solutions. So.
Trying our best. Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, so why don't you tell us a little bit about
Okay.
Kelaca and your journey?
Excellent. Again, thank you for the opportunity. So Kelaca, I started 5 years ago now. Incredible thing. Well, May will be officially 5 years younger, 5 years
Okay.
old. But I had the good fortune of leading another professional recruiting staffing company up in the Midwest for about 10 years prior to this, and I always felt that the industry just quite frankly needed a facelift. It needed something a little bit different, and I felt that our clients, the companies that use recruiters and candidates, deserved a better experience. And so I took about a 3-year transition away from that company, a year as their president of that company, and 2 years on the board to transition away, and chose Raleigh as the place to start Kelaca, and very thankfully, gratefully got some wonderful teammates on board right out of the gates, and now coming up on 5 years young, 5 years old in May. Yes. So we are a professional recruiting company. We do a mixture of contingent labor or contingent staffing, so temporary or contract resources. Okay. We also do quite a bit of contract to hire or temp to hire, whatever you want to call that, as well as direct placements. Currently, I would say that we're primarily in the mid to senior level space, and so the average resource is over 100,000 on average, to kind of put in perspective as to where they fall within the realm.
We work across compensation.
In terms of compensation, correct. And so primarily mid to senior level, where you want to put that. And then we work across all verticals. IT is our largest vertical, but we do quite a bit in the engineering, marketing, financial, and general professional space as well. Really selective on the companies we work with, but then helping them across the board.
You mentioned that you felt the industry was ripe for a facelift.
Yeah.
So what would you say differentiates Kelaca from the competition or the other?
Yeah. You know, I think the industry, and maybe more than just the recruiting industry, but I think the industry has just been so commoditized over the years. We've gotten to this place now where quite often hiring is run either through HR or through procurement, and we're being forced to kind of work off of job descriptions only, and the relationship piece or the understanding companies' cultures, for lack of better words, or their values has kind of been taken away.
I think a lot of it's even become automated, right?
It
the monster jobs and
applicant tracking systems out there, the job boards, yes, it certainly has become automated, commoditized. And so Kelaca is very focused on what we say culture recruiting or value recruiting, and understanding our clients, therefore our companies and the candidates' values, and how they align and how they match, and how we can recruit someone based on that value alignment, that culture alignment, not just how their keywords in the resume match the keywords in the job description, which unfortunately I think is how much of the recruiting industry has gone. So we're really trying to change that and change that experience. And then, quite frankly, treating our candidates like people instead of like products. Because with that commoditization, recruiters have been so forced to just kind of churn and burn and not communicate well and not set good expectations with the candidates out there. So we're really trying to redefine that experience for those candidates.
In terms of, I guess I've heard you speak many times, and one of the great stories that you tell is the 600 cups of coffee in 6 months. Can you share a little bit of that?
Yeah, as I'm drinking coffee right now. More coffee, so 601 coffees. You were part of those 600 coffees in 6 months. I don't know if you knew that.
No, sure.
So one of the reasons I chose Raleigh was the opportunity to come to a market completely cold. meaning I did not know a single person in Raleigh. And as much as I love the blue skies that we're looking at outside and the friendly transit environment that we brought this way, I wanted the experience of opening something from scratch. And so literally moved my family down here, got them started into school. My kids were kindergarten and first grade at the time. Got my wife settled into the house, etc. And then sat down in a hotel lobby and said, let's go. And pulled up LinkedIn and started to make my connections. And I set the goal in order to help immerse myself in the market of doing 600 coffees in the first 6 months. And so I met one, and as I would meet one, I'd go for 5 introductions from that person and so on and so forth until I did it. And it averages about 25 a week to do that 600 coffees. And of course I learned how to drink decaf very, very quickly. But it was a great way to dive in the market, get to know as many good people like yourself and many of the other small business owners and power networks around here that were able to introduce me to other folks that have now led to a lot of our clientele, that have led to a lot of my hires internally here and now in our other offices as well.
So in that journey, so you're starting a new venture. I've started new ventures, and some successful ones, some not so.
Yeah.
And there's usually either a time or an event that happens where you realize that I think this is going to fly, or I think this is not going to fly. What for you? What told you that your model, your methodology Kelaca was going to fly here in Raleigh?
Part of me wants to say I'm still waiting for it.
Okay.
And every day is a new change. And every day I'm glad that the lights turn on when we come into the office. The first one certainly was kind of that first sale. And the first time we put someone to work and the client said, yes, we want to hire your person, or yes, we want to work with Kelaca. That's always kind of a good gut check as to how we're doing on that. I would say most recently, though, I'm doing this thing this quarter where I'm trying to meet with 75% of our clients from 2016. 75%. So quite a few meetings. And I'm doing what's called, it's our ACE meetings, our Assuring Client Enthusiasm. And so I've been interviewing, meeting with all of our clients this past quarter, and getting their feedback and hearing from them that, I ask this question, what comes to mind when you think of Kelaca? And I don't lead anything else into that. And when I'm hearing back, I heard this yesterday during the meeting. The first word was integrity. The second one was a business partner. The second one, or the next one, was that you've redefined it. You've redefined our expectations. So without coaching them, I'm actually hearing back now from our clients exactly what we set out to do in terms of our vision and our values and everything else. And so, yes, our first placement was a nice win, and when we became profitable, that was a nice thing. Or when we opened our second office in Richmond, Virginia, that was a nice thing.
Okay.
But hearing it now from our clients directly that we worked with this past year, and for them to kind of bring back and tell me about our vision without me having to tell them what our vision is really that moment.
That's got to be rewarding. Well, a lot of us, get up in the morning.
Exactly right.
And they say, if you do the right things, you have the right culture, the money often takes care of itself.
Without question. And I can't help but say the other thing that makes me feel like we've gotten there is every time I see someone else out here, whether it be make more money or put another person to work or grow their families or personal wins as well, that's the moment where I say, all right, this has been worth it. And jumping off that cliff so many years ago was the right thing to do, not only for myself and my family, but for the rest of the Kelaca family.
In terms of strategy, so the growth strategy, obviously there's geographic growth. There's an office in Richmond.
Correct, yeah.
And I guess there's internal growth. I guess additional account executives or however
exactly
the term
right,
is
yeah.
internally. What's your strategy for growth in 2017 and beyond?
Right, and so we've started this a few years ago with our 10-year plan, or our BHOG, our Big Hairy Audacious Goals, and so on. And we're actually an EOS company, Entrepreneurial Operating System company.
Okay.
And so we have our 10-year plan, which then is rolled down into a 5-year, into a 3-year, into our 1-year, and into our quarterly. And so each quarter we look at that. But specifically for 2017, we are going to continue to grow our sales force. In fact, we hired more salespeople last week. Had 2 new salespeople start last week, one for Richmond, one for Raleigh. We also have plans to expand into our 3rd market this year, likely Charlotte. We're not quite certain. We're already in Charlotte, but we don't have brick and mortar there yet. And so that's been in discussion. But So some geographic expansion. No doubt, I think that client penetration is going to be a big part of our 2017. We've started to, fingers crossed, knock on wood, started to get our foot in some great doors with some good client partners. And, but perhaps we're only helping them with the IT vertical or with a certain vertical. And so now it's time to start helping them across the board. And so that's a big part of our growth strategy as well. But I'm in the people business. And so I think if we want to grow, it's all about having the right people on the right seats in the bus to take from Collins or to take from EOS. And if we do that, the growth will follow.
So being in the people business, that speaks to, obviously, your people strategy. Obviously, you can only do so much. I walked in. I did see you out there, with the team. I thought that was excellent. I used to sit back in my electronic component days. I used to sit on the floor with my team, and that's great to see. But in terms of bringing people in. Attracting, well, you're in the people business, so you're in the business of attracting people. Then I guess matching the culture. What are your strategies, I guess, or what do you employ, or just run the Kelaca playbook and to bring people in? How do you?
Yeah, it's funny. You think that given that we're professional recruiters, we'd be awesome at hiring people internally, but no matter how many people I've hired now, I've been a part of 11,000 some hires over my career. And being in the business, we hire a lot of people. And there is no magic formula. I hate to say that, right? No doubt we look at value alignment first and our core values of Kelaca. The name represents our 6 main core values. And so we look at that first and foremost, make sure that someone is the right person. We typically do not hire from within our industry. In fact, like I said, we hire straight to the values match, and then we look for certain characteristics in terms of the obvious things like integrity and strong work ethic and passion and desire and perseverance, or often we talk about grit internally and having some of that grit and desire to do well. I'm fairly confident we can train just about anybody on the recruiting process. I do feel like we have a great proven process that I've been using now for close to 2 decades. But when it comes to people, my main job as one of the folks in the leadership team here is all about serving them. I'm a huge fan of servant leadership. And quite frankly, one of the things I'm trying to change internally with our culture from what I've done in the past is really make it about them. And my job is simply to stand behind them every once in a while and help them out and make sure they're pointing in the right direction and really be a good servant leader. And the other part to that is that in my past, I've always done that kind of top-down driven culture where the leadership decides on the flavor of the Kool-Aid and makes the Kool-Aid. And I'm really trying to make a change here this time that I don't decide the flavor of the Kool-Aid. Rather, we all work on it together and decide what the recipe is going to be and how we make it and how strong we make it, and whether it's the same here versus what it's like in our Richmond office. Kool-Aid, of course, being our culture and how we get stuff done and how we communicate. But big fan of servant leadership. Big fan of just doing what I can to help this team and giving them the opportunities to develop and grow. Our third, the L in Kelaca, stands for learning. And so we are constantly trying to learn. We are constantly in shift and giving people new opportunities to learn new skills, to try new roles, to try new geographics, whatever they want to do. Let's do that. And so one of our main rocks or goals for this year is that everybody will be in a different seat by the end of the year. And we've already made some considerable change to that and moved some people around. But again, so that people get the opportunity to try out different things and really grow their skill sets and be developed.
Which I guess, speaks to as somewhat of an aging baby boomer. I think you come in,
I'm right, very close to it.
But what I've heard, about the millennial generation, and it's different, and they have to be, I guess, recruited and worked indoctrinated into the organization, but join organizations, and they want to know what am I going to contribute. It seems to be more about them, whereas my generation, as part of the children of the greatest generation, we were told to follow orders. This is what you did, and you worked hard, keep your head down, and eventually you'll get your shot. Whereas, I saw a good amount of millennials in that room, and it seems like that's the type of strategy that likely works well and be effective with that generation.
Yeah, it's interesting. In our workforce, as I think about, I think we have an intern right now, and I would guess that intern is probably around 20. And then we also have teammates that are into their 60s. And so I think we've got a pretty good diverse group in terms of that. I would say our average age here is probably over 40, which is pretty unique for the recruiting space as well. That being said, I think the millennial generation, as much as they may annoy me at times in kind of the general beliefs of the millennials, I think their creativity, their desire to really dive into something, become a part of something, and belong to something, and a greater purpose and greater passion has worked wonderful for us because we are all about redefining that recruiting experience. And so I believe that millennials really can buy into what we're trying to do and really buy into that purpose and really change the, for lack of better words, change the world in which we compete and the places where we do it. Let alone our industry is changing every second. Recruiting space with technology changes and industry, and the fact that we're across multiple industries, it's constantly changing. And so I love the creativity and the mindset that millennials come in. I think the challenge and the opportunity is just to continuously give them something new to try and something new to go after. And so that goes to our changing roles sort of approach and allowing people to sit in different seats. But I think it's a great, all good generations. I think the loyalty, quite frankly, will perhaps swing back if they're under the right leadership and under the right company, if they really buy into that bigger picture. I hope.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yes.
As we wrap up, last question, advice. So what would you feel is the best piece of business advice you've received and or that you'd like to share with perhaps a new or budding entrepreneur?
Humility, perhaps, and just being humble. Even though I've been down this path before, and like you, this isn't my first business, this isn't my first recruiting company, first one I've done on my own, and not as a hired gun for someone else, but a lot of humility. The other thing, we've got a quote on the bottom of our main board out there in the office from Harry Truman, and it's the quote of, "It's amazing what you can accomplish when you don't care who gets the credit." And to our idea of servant leadership, to our idea, even though we are a commission, heavily incentive compensation driven sort of environment, to have that selflessness coupled with the humility. So I love that quote from Truman. One last thing, I always learned from my dad, and I've always learned it and everything, as he was a good business leader for years. It's just the simple concept of firm, fair, and friendly. And I've always taken that to heart in everything we do. I'm going to be firm, fair, and friendly. And I think people appreciate that and hopefully respect that. And that's perhaps helping grow the team and therefore grow the business as a result of that. But
it's great words to live by and great words to go to business with. Keith, why don't you tell us people how they can get in touch with you and or Kelaca?
Okay. Certainly you can look up Kelaca.com, Kelaca.com. Or our main line here, which will reach the Raleigh and the Richmond office, is 919-424-5000. Be happy to have a conversation and see what we can do to help anybody. Whether you're in transition for jobs or whether you're looking to hire folks, no guarantee that we're the right player for you, but I'm certainly willing to have that conversation and do what I can to help out.
You have some more than that. Well, thanks, Keith, for inviting us in.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching another episode of the Small Business Insights. I'm Don Emmett from Entrust Associates, and see you next time.